Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Leibella Ralston. In behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores, we want to thank you. Thank you all for being here this afternoon. It's always more fun. I love Wednesdays. And every time I do this class, I always say I'm so excited, but it is the honest truth. I get so excited to create, to play with all of you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for spending your precious time with us. Like what I said, I'm super excited, but I want to say hello to everyone first. So, hello, everybody. Hi, Christy. Hello, Tina. Hello, everyone. Hi, Mary. Hi, Mariana. Hello, people. Hello, friends. Hi, Nina. Thank you so much for being here. Hi, Alyssa. All right, I feel more at home now. I'm here at home. Everything is doing well. Thank you all so much for last week's. We had a little bit of a a jumble with our supplies there last week, but we pulled through, so that was fun. Today we are going to be playing in our journal. We're going to be creating some mark making. Before we get this class started, I want you to throw the idea of perfection, throw it out. We don't want to hear out, 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 out in the room. We don't want perfection because today it's going to be all about beautiful mark making. We're going to create the idea of florals. Now, I tell you what, I don't even know names of flowers, but I love looking at them. I love drawing them. I'm just not good at names and of the flowers that I'm doing. It's almost like it's like an abstract, but not really. But we're just creating an impression of florals. So that's the reason why I'm calling it a mark making because we are going to be playing with our brush pens today. The pens and the markers that I'll be working with would be the PITT Artist Pen. Now, if you do not have, like I said last week, if you do not have the same markers, it's okay. You could also use the Gold Faber Aqua. These are the markers that we were supposed to use last week, but we did not. So if you have these are perfect, but I will be working with the PITT Artist Pens. The PITT Artist Pens is a bit of a smaller brush nib, so which is really, really good. So I like to say small to medium, and then the Gold Faber Aqua would have more of a large brush. So just look at it. But the Gold Faber Aqua, you will get two tips. You get dual tips. You get the fine tip of the 0.6, and then you get that brush. But the PITT Artist Pen, you only get one tip, which is the brush nib, of course. All right. Yeah, you can definitely do the August. You don't have to put in July in here. So what? I'm just getting confused. All right. Okay. Is my mic okay? Am I loud enough? I think I figured out what happened with my mic earlier. I chose a different settings through Zoom instead of this wireless microphone that I'm using now. Perfect. All right. Thank you, Cher. I'm so happy to be back home. I'm so happy to be back home. Okay, the journal that I am using today is from my own stationery line. We have a stationery line. It's called the Little Bits Boxes. So this beautiful design is my character. It's Pinky. So you could use any type of journal that you have. You could use a dot grid. I don't know what your favorite is, but lately I have been loving the dot grid. I used to love the square grid right here, but it came to a point where it all of a sudden it's just starting to look busy. So I love bullet journaling. Please raise your hand to everyone that's keeping a bullet journal. Bullet journal is something that I'm very passionate about. So this class is really close to my heart. This is my past bullet journal from March to beginning of June. I can browse through it. I use it daily. It is like a best friend that I reach out to all the time. I have everything in here. So I feel like I was a day old last, I think 2 months ago, when I found out that there's a term instead of a bullet journal that what you call the type of notebook that I'm keeping. Because in this notebook, it's more than just planning. I have like documenting in here almost like a journaling slash scrapbooking. So I print photos, I put it in here. I have lists, I have, quotes, I have journal pages and all that. Then I have my planner as well. So it's like a commonplace notebook slash planner slash journal. But I have all my stickers in here. I have pretty papers. This is like my playground. So, I mean, it is my favorite thing. It keeps me organized. I don't know what I'm going to do without my bullet journal. I reach out to it. You know, as you get older, you forget more things and you're like, okay, I need something to look back to. Is like, what did I do today? Even back planning is something that I do. Okay, so like what I said, you can use any type of journal. We're going to use, I'm going to go switch over to this page. We're actually going to use 3 pages for this layout. So we're going to keep one. We're going to keep this second one, and then we're going to use this. So we're going to use 3. Put that in here. This is like my sample bullet journal where I do my classes and all that. Now I want you to pick 3 to 4 colors of color palette. Okay, so the colors that I'm going to be choosing today, I'm picking 2 greens. I want to have 2 values of greens for our leaves. So that, and then, so I think I'm going to use this crimson color instead of like a deep purple. And then I'm going to grab the pink Madder Lake. So pick 5. So these are the colors that I'm going to be using today. No, Jennifer, honestly, the reason why bullet journal can be overwhelming is I think because of all the beautiful creations that we see, and you're not alone in this one. I was the same way. I was so overwhelmed with the bullet journal before. I would start one and then I'm like, I can't do it because, you know, I feel like I have to do so much in the bullet journal. Only when I started to use my journal as how it would serve me and not how it would, you know, how it would look to others. That is the only when the time where it felt like, okay, this feels right. This feels home. So I want you to use your journal for you. Okay. So don't try to kind of like, oh, everybody's doing this. And trust me, when I look at everybody's work, all this layout, all this Dutch door, there are so many terms for it. I'm like, I can't do that. I'm overwhelmed. I'm going to quit. I quit now. So no, don't. The name of the journals, it's called the Little Bits box. So we have a Little Bits box that's filled of like stationery items monthly. And it includes an A5 journal in there. Okay, so 3 papers. Now the setup that I'm going to do today is kind of like a horizontal, not kind of, it is a horizontal layout. I might use a ruler, but I don't know why. I hope it's just not me, but every time I use a ruler, I still end up with wonky lines. I don't know. I guess it's just me. I don't like to count squares and grids. That's the only thing. I know a lot of people are like so precise with their boxes. I'm not that. I'm just not. I feel like I'm so whatever. As long as I have like 6 boxes in here, I'm good. But today we're going to divide this page here for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So it's going to be a horizontal layout. So I want you to leave maybe a quarter part of it. So divide it to 4 because we're going to add our title on top and we're going to have our decorations in there. Okay, so let's start with just lining it. I'm not going to count. I'm just going to divide it to 4. Let's see. I'm going to leave a little bit of space on top for our title. I'm going to make sure I zoom in so you can see this. There we go. Oh, Mariana, it's called Little Bits Box. Thank you, Jen. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go here. All right, just 1. I'm using the PITT Artist Pen in 0.3. This is the super fine. There's a letter S in there. Okay, and then divide this 1. So just eyeball things if you feel like, oh, that's close enough. Now 2. The more you do this, the more you're like, okay, this is what I like. This is what works for me. Then you're really gonna know. Okay, so we have our title, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then we can decorate this over here as well, right? So this middle part of the paper, I want you to just fold it in half like that. Just fold it in half like that. Like that. And then we're going to do the same lines in here. Just it. I think it's here. I think it's like that, but I could be wrong. Like that. Thank you guys for being here today. I always love doing the classes. Wednesday is my favorite day. All right. And then here, how's everybody doing? Like that. And then we have one more. I think it's here. Oops, I feel like it's the here. Oh boy. I'm already following a guide to my left and it's still not doing me so well. Okay. Right, here we go. I think I did it. All right, so we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we'll share a box. Nope, I feel like I could use one more grid here. Look at that. Really, like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna double it. At least this is my way of correcting myself. Did I say let go of perfection? I sure did, but gonna look aesthetic. There we go. All right. Okay, so we have, this is the basic. I'm gonna divide my last box to my right in half, like this. I cannot decide where's the half. We're just gonna go for it. All right, so my Saturday and Sunday, since I don't really have a lot, make marks, not stress. Thank you, Christy. Thank you. I know. Most of the time, I don't use the ruler anymore, but I feel like I'm teaching a class. I should be more like precise here. Okay, so this is her guide right here. This part right here is going to be the to-do list. We can keep our home list over here, anything that needs to get done for the whole week for home. Any reminders, you know, notes, maybe you can use it for your grocery list. And then the back of the page is going to be all about work, or you can do vice versa. This could be work and then the back could be home, you know, or school, but there's no school right now. Okay, I'm going to put this one away so we have more space. Okay, everybody's done with their lines and all that. Now we're going to start with, we're going to do the florals last, or decoration last. We're going to go knock down first all the flags for our days. Now I'm going to choose the purple and the yellow, which is actually the green, gold, and the crimson color. They're complementary. They look so great together. Okay, so I'm going to choose the banner for the dates, the purple, the crimson, and then the banner would be the green, gold. Now we can make different types of shapes to add our dates in here. You can do as simple as a square, simple as an oval, a circle, a heart, you know. I want to keep things more simple because later it's going to be more busy with all the florals that we're going to decorate the page with. So choose something simple right now. So I'm going to choose just a page flag. So I'm going to go over here on the side. I have a tendency to make this so big also. So just right now I'm choosing almost like 2.5 grid, or 3 grids actually, 3 square grids like that. Right? We have one here. Like that. And then we're going to color it in. And honestly, the more you do this, the more it gets easier. Unless you're a Libra like me, it's very hard to decide on things. You're like, I want this one. I want this one. No, I want this one. And then you're like an hour and a half into whatever you're doing and you still can't decide. All right, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm gonna do the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weekend, the opposite. So vice versa. We're gonna do the yellow for the page flags in there. All right, so 3, go in the middle, like that. 3. Look at me going fast. All right, go me. All right. So add your page flags in there. I was wondering if any of you are doing different than what I'm doing right now. Let us know in the comments so people can have also other ideas. So I'll do this on the right side as well. So still 3. Are you doing heart? Are you doing ovals? Like that. Yes, Sam, I'm not kidding. I do love being a Libra. We're just charming like this. Sorry, guys. Don't want to start any argument here. All of us is amazing. We are all amazing. You don't want to be a Libra. We're so indecisive. Okay, so I'm gonna do my banner this time in yellow since I have this one out. I'm wondering if I still want to add a banner because it's so busy already. See that I told you, I'm having a hard time. I'm trying to decide. Lay decide. How about I just do an oval, a stretched oval, kind of like this, almost like. Welcome to my world, just like that. I think I'd like that. We have a more geometric because of the banner, and then we have like a rounded object here. Now, the reason why I love the PITT Artist Pen is because this is an water-based India ink. And no matter what notebook you're using, no matter what journal, they don't normally bleed through. I've tried it with many different types of journal and they don't bleed. They don't have smell either. So I really, really love this. It it has this quality of a watercolor. It's very faint in the beginning, but it only means that you can layer. You can really stack up on your layer. You can make it deeper, the value, by just adding another layer on top of things. So that means you don't need many different colors just to add shadows and depth to your color. It really is fantastic. It is in the pricey side, but it is, for me, maybe I'm biased, but absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. I feel like if I did the banner, it will be too busy. Maybe we can do that for our title for the month. We'll stick to this one and then we'll use a black PITT Artist Pen to letter the days of the week. Just like that. I love it. This is the Faber-Castell PITT Artist Pens. Sorry. Is it not? Hey, like that. I cannot agree with you more, Patricia. It truly is. It's one of those things that you really get what you pay for. Okay. Are we? Okay. So now my decision would where's my phone so I can decide on the date. Can you imagine? It's almost August. We have to think about back to school already. This is insane. So we do next week. Monday starts on a 22. I know not everybody starts on a Monday. Some of you guys like to start your week on Sunday. I like it when it starts on a Monday. So 22nd, I'm using the PITT Artist Pen again in 0.3. This is the super fine like this. So it's really, really, really fine. I love it. So I'm going to start 22. I'm going to keep this one small, just like that. 23. If you are already doing August in your bullet journal, then make sure to have your calendar because I know I mess up my dates all the time. 25, 26, 27, 28. Oh my gosh, end of July already. Insane. All right. Now, this is something I talk about all the time in my social media because I get asked this question a lot. Lay, what is your favorite marker? And I just did this I think it was yesterday. If I have to choose one marker for the rest of my life, has to be the PITT Artist Pen, the Fudenosuke, this one, the FM or the FH, either one of these, because the Fudenosuke it looks like a regular pen, but what it actually is, it's a flexible nib like that. So the one to my right is the FH, it's much thinner, and the FM slightly bigger, and also more flexible. I love it because I can create thin and thick strokes by just using, a variation of light and heavy stroke. So I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to write my days of the week. All right. Oh, why is that? There we go. So I'm going to start with Monday. And I'm not going to write the whole Monday. See how there's thick and thin? It's just like that. So every time I do my upstroke, I go really light in pressure. And every time I do my downstroke, every time I write towards me, it's when I apply a little bit of pressure in here, like that. So next month, we're going to have a in-depth brush lettering course again. So I like to kind of like do a back to basic brush lettering because, I know there's a lot of you here who is always here taking the class, but there's also new friends that would like to learn more of the brush lettering. I'm going to type in the name of the pen. In the chat. There we go. Oh, thanks, Nicole. Thanks so much. All right. So, and we have a Wednesday. This is why I love this marker because it's so pretty. And I can still use it for just regular writing. As long as you go light enough, then you're going to have your thin strokes. Yeah, if I can only have one marker for the rest of my life, this would be it, the FM. I'll have Friday in here. I have heavy, heavy hands. So that I struggle so much with my thin strokes. And then Sunday. So the class for next month is going to be more in-depth and we can really focus on writing the alphabet one by one. So it's going to be two-part class so that we can really get into that letters A to Z. Okay, so now this is going to be refreshers refreshers are always good. Already signed up. All right. Okay, so I'm going to letter July in here. I'm going to letter in both sides, to the left and to the right. And I'm going to use the crimson color. This one, the PITT Artist Pen, the brush nib, is going to be from small to medium size of a brush. And I really love it because it is very flexible and it's like getting two markers in one. I love showing this because not a lot of people know this. So you can actually pull your nib like this, and then you can twist it around if you feel like your brush pen is like frayed already, because they do fray depending on how heavy your pressure is. So you just pull it back and it's like getting two pens in one pen, right? Now you have two. And if you feel like it's too tight for you and you feel like I want it to be more flexible, I want to really bend the nib of the brush pen, So you can pull it just a little bit and then you'll have more flexibility. And I love this one. Oh, Belle, it's okay. It will be recorded, Belle. So it will be available on Michael's YouTube channel if you're going to miss it. All right, so we're going to letter July. We start with J-U-L-Y. Again, the basic of brush lettering is two things, two important strokes, thin and thick. We do the thin stroke every time we would write away from us. So this is our light pressure. Every time you go right away from your body, this is when you're going to apply really light pressure. And every time you will write towards your body, this is called the downstroke. This is a time where you're going to apply a bit of pressure in your brush pen. So if you feel like you're not getting the, you're not getting the thin and thick, you feel like it's too thick or it's too thin. If it's too thin, it means that you're not going heavy enough. You're not really bending that marker enough. But it's too thick, it means that you're not going light enough, right? So it's just the opposite. So every time you'd write away from your body, every time you go do your upstroke, this is when you apply light pressure. When you write towards you, every time you would pull that marker down, this is the downstroke, and this is where you're going to apply thick pressure. Also, the way you would handle your pen is really, really important. So you cannot just do this. I'm going to have, where's my marker? Right in the back. It's very important to do the hand. You would handle your brush pen. Okay. So this is how we normally write, right? So our pen is like upside down like this. But every time I would do any type of brush lettering, notice how I would switch my hand. It's almost like a 45-degree relative from the paper. So it's slanted. So I'm able to use the tip of the brush, and then I'm also able to use the body every time I would do a downstroke. So this is my letter J. Notice how I'm really pressing on the body of the pen. Stop there, use the tip, and go really light. So you can get a very thick and then a really thin, just depending on the amount of pressure you apply. Okay, so I don't want to go really get into details because we still have to decorate our pen, but I'm going to go in and letter July. You can just letter July however you'd like. It can be just, big bold letters or some script, like how I would do it. So July. And that's why the class next month is 2 parts, because to get into just the basic stroke alone would take a long time. And then I'm going to go. It's going to be fun. July, July. And this is what I was saying about, it has this almost like a watercolor, because you can layer on top of this one and you're going to darken it. So you don't really need another color of marker just to add some shadows to this one. So I'm just going to add a little bit on top. Look at this. I'm going to overlay to create that bolder, deeper color. So we're just adding some characters to our letters in here. Just like that. And I do the same thing onto the other side. I love the PITT Artist Pens. And they don't bleed. Did I say it doesn't bleed? And they dry fast. So to all my lefty friends in here, I think you're really going to love the PITT Artist Pens. They dry fast. But of course, that's like also depending on the paper that you're using. But I've tried it with many different types of journals and notebooks. They really do dry fast. I believe that there should be a handout for the class. We have like our alphabet in there. Maybe in the first class, the part 1, but we should have it. I prepared a really detailed handout for that class. All right, So now for the middle part, this is going to be the fun part because this is where we're going to create and add our florals. Now, I dare I say florals because it almost look like we're just doodling and making some marks. And you're going to end up with like pretty flowers. So you're like, whoa, I didn't know I can make pretty flowers like this. But again, okay, this is it. I'm throwing away the perfection. Throwing gun. It's gone. All right. I am going to pick up my pink Matter Lake light pink color. And then we're going to fill this part right here. Oh, we need a scissor. Okay. We're going to need a scissor later. So I have this small Fisker scissor in here. We're going to need that. I just want you to create kind of like a border. If you need a pencil first to kind of like a guide to follow, if you want to do like this, just like that, you won't probably see it because it's really light, but it's just like almost like a zigzag. But this is the path that I want to follow for all my florals. I'm a pen snob. There you go, Olga. I think you're really, really going to like this one. Okay, so for the flowers, for the mark making that we're going to do, I am not familiar with the name of the flowers. I've actually was Googling this just so I can give you like names. But there are some called the park seeds. There's some that's called pink pentas, the bellflower, Egyptian star cluster. So there's many types. But basically what it is we're going to create like 5 petal flowers. All right. So I'm going to go on the back again just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So when I say mark making, remember when we're drawing our flowers, you know, when we were kids, we're always filling all the petals like this, just like that. Now, what I want you to do this time is like, it's almost like it's a painterly stroke. I want you to play around with your brush pen. I want you to kind of like really let loose instead of creating like perfect petals. I want you to just make the idea of flowers. I don't want you to fill the whole space. I want you to create a negative space as much as you can. I want to see like white space in there. I want to see the papers through. So just kind of like this. And this is going to be depending on the marker that you're using. So when you want it wide open, you're going to make your petals, the 2 petals down here, a bit shorter, right? So, but if you want it like an overhead view of the flowers, then you want to make your petals, more equal. And then if you want it just on the side, just the idea. So you can doodle, make marks. Okay, so just let loose. Here we go. What? Are you kidding me? 5:35 already. This is crazy. Let's go. Let's make some doodles, some flowers. And I'm not talking about when I say I'm just going to doodle and really make marks in here. So leave some space because we're going to add another color of flower in here. Like that. And then play around with the size of your flower as well. Maybe some are like smaller, some are much bigger. I think everything that's closer to me, I'll make it slightly bigger, like that. It's like that. And I'll make one more here. Like that. Okay. So I'm going to go and then pick my crimson color again, the purple one, and I'll make like dots, almost like, it's almost like a lavender style, but it's like you're making just clusters in here. So just like that, really just like clusters. I'm going to make some here, just like that. So it goes thinner on top, wider at the bottom. Just like that. And then the same idea, leave a little bit of white space in between of your clusters. Okay, so just like this. So a little bit of paper, let a little bit of that paper peek through. To here. And try not to overthink it also. Just kind of like do, 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 do. I don't know what else to kind of like call it, but just clusters of doodles. All right. Now the middle part of my pink, I'm going to use the green gold that I have. And then I'm going to have the same marks that I used for the cluster of flowers, just irregular dots in the middle. Just like that. Now, if you want to make our page cohesive, what really helps is having a color palette like this. You know, I know it gets so busy when you have a whole lot of florals happening, but when you have like a limited color palette, it really does help to make things look more like, not minimal, it just looks more cohesive in a way where it's not so busy, you know, it doesn't hurt your eyes. All right, then remember what I said at the beginning, I have two shades or two values of green. I have the earth green, a lighter green, and then I have a more warmer green. This is the permanent green olive. So I'm going to start with my light green first. Now, like with our flowers, I think I missed this one. Like with our flowers, our aim here is to leave a little bit of white space or a negative space. And then we're going to play around also with the size of our leaves. So some would be more like longer, some would be bigger, some would be more tighter and close to each other. So just kind of like play around with that. So if you want to make it like it's almost like in a vine, so follow that shape that we created. So look at my leaves. It's just, I'm going to go over here. This one is sticking out. So almost like you're creating buds instead of that perfect leaves that we used to draw when we were little. So on the top of the cluster also, I'm going to add a little bit of like buds coming through and then bring it down. I'm going to go zoom in so you guys can see a little bit of what I'm doing here. Just like this. Add a little bit of bud, like really sticking on the top, and add really tiny, use the tip of your brush pen and go really light on your pressure. I'm going to add one here and almost like going in the middle through that cluster of purple flowers. And I'm going to add like longer leaves in here. See how I'm just making like marks? I'm not really trying to go perfect with the leaves. I know it's really hard. Trust me, when I first started doing this, it was really, really difficult to not make every single leaves perfect like how I would normally do it, you know, prior to learning the organic mark making. I just wanted everything to look like neat and perfect and pretty. But the more I'm doing the painterly style, the more I'm really loving this because, like what I said, you can't finish this. If me not talking, I could have finished this in 30 minutes, this layout. But of course, I'm blabbering in between. So sorry about that, guys. It's taking a bit longer. Just like that. And then go on top of that again. Just kind of like make small buds on top. Peeking through over here on the side. Just like this. Same thing. I'm just playing with the direction. Nonsense. Okay. And then at this point, you can actually use the same marker, the crimson, and just go back in and just kind of like add some shadow and depth and just kind of like It's almost like pointillist, and I'm not really doing anything but just kind of like adding dots in there, and it just adds a little bit of dimension. See, just adding a little bit of shadow, adding more details. So it's almost like a dabbing or a dotting action that we're doing. But then this is where the beauty of the PITT Artist Pen shines through, is that it's like, again, like a watercolor, where if you layer on top of this, you're creating a darker value. An instant shadow and contrast here. And I'll do the same thing with the pink. This is the Pink Madder Lake. I'm going to go in the middle and just kind of like add a little bit of shadow in there. Just like that. Adding more dimension. Just darkening the middle part of my flower. Instead of like looking flat, we're just adding some contrast. If it's not giving you enough shadow and contrast, maybe you can find a darker shade, maybe like a step up, a darker value of the pink. You can try and do that as well. Just like that. And now I'm going to go in and add more greens and add more leaves. I'm using the deeper and the warmer tone also green in here. And like what I did, it's almost like just mark making, some little buds of flowers in here. Not flowers, leaves. You can add a few stems that's sticking out. Use the tip of your brush to get thin strokes. This one is really frayed already. It's probably an older. Yep. That really old marker. Should replace this one. Right. Much better though. This end is much better. And sometimes, honestly, when your brush pens are frayed, don't just throw them away, because it really does give a different result, because you can see like the brush strokes in there, like this one that I have. This is a really old marker. I can see where the strokes of the brush nib, but it's still so pretty. See how I'm just kind of like doodling. Or just adding like layers of the green in there. Almost like scribbles, almost like really just scribble. But the more painterly it looks, it's so pretty. It really is so pretty. Now I'm going to go back in and use my yellow. This is the green gold. And I'm just going to add some fillers here and there. Not really on top of the gold itself, but in between the leaves. Just like that. So just filling in some space. So I do it in 3, 5s, like a different. I just play around, whatever feels right to you. Just kind of like leave marks in there. And this is even going to be more fun if we're using like a watercolor. So definitely in the future, we're going to create a class just mark making using some watercolors. It's going to be really, really fun, and playing around with techniques. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's so pretty. Oh, goodness. All right. And so I'm going to use the pink, and this is where I'm going to create my banner. I'm going to put it right here. Okay, while you're filling that, your flowers, I'm going to start adding my banners. I'm going to go up in a hump and down and then up again, just like that. And then I will follow the same shape. At the bottom, go up, down, up. So up the hill, down the hill, up the hill again. I'm going to close this right here, just like that. And this is where I'm going to kind of like a letter V, just like this. And then I'm going to fill this whole shape. Like that. And I'm going to use my PITT Artist Pen, the 0.3, and I'm going to add like a stitching border around it. So really small dash to create this stitched effect. So small dash of lines. And when I'm doing like my bullet journal layout, I'm watching a show, or I'm watching YouTube, or I'm actually watching like other people doing their bullet journals because it's so fun. And then next thing I know, I'm finished. It's like this. It's so pretty. All right. And then over here, I'm gonna grab a black brush like this. I'm gonna go fill in this space because of my boo-boo. Oops. Like that. I'll go in here and then. Now, of course, we're not going to have a lot of time, but what you're supposed to do on the back of the paper, you're going to fill it in with flowers as well. This one. But I am going to follow the shape that we created, and I'm going to go cut like this, cut around the shape that we created. Using a small scissor really does help, or if you have an X-Acto knife, you can definitely do that, and use a healing mat. That helps. So whatever tools you have in there in your arsenal, use it, because sometimes it's hard, especially in the middle part like this. Maybe keeping a longer, using a bigger scissor will probably better. I'm not sure, but so far I'm doing an okay job. So just kind of cutting around that, just like this. Then like that. So the idea is that you're going to go fill the same area like this with more flowers. But of course, our time is so limited, we'll not be able to do that. But I want to add a little bit of florals here for the July, just so we can bring in the florals in here. And then I'll play around with the size, just like that. Maybe do it in 3. just like this, and I'll do the same thing here. See, it's just like a scribbles. You're doing scribbles like that. And then we're going to use the yellow, do exactly how you did it when we did it in the middle part. That's how we're going to do this flower as well. So we're going to add that. Then you take your purple or your crimson color. Mine is crimson. And I'm going here and just add some fillers like that cluster that we created earlier. Go thin in there. Just like that. And we'll grab our green. Start adding, going through it. Isn't this kind of like so crazy fun when you're like just doing scribbles and doodles and all that, and you're creating all these beautiful florals? When I was first doing this, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, oh my God, I just drew a flower. Because I'm really not into florals at all. But as I get older, I'm like, I really want to create more florals in my planners. I don't know. I don't know if it's aged or if it's just our likes change. You know, it's like, I really love florals now. Because, of course, when I was younger, I didn't really used to very much, but now it's like, oh, I love it. So look at me making some scribbles in here, even filling that part right there with just greens, because it gives the impression of there's a lot of clusters of like different leaves in there, different sizes and all that. So you're just filling in some space. And you can come back in and use your yellow and just kind of like add like a little bit of pointillism, like dots, just fillers in the middle part, on the side, just like that. And it looks really, really good too. Oh, there we go. And then later on, you can add more borders of leaves in there if you would like, you know, but this is it. This is what we have. I'm going to add home in here, like letter home. Just like this. Like that. And then you can use the same color palette to add your bullet list in here, however long you need it to be. But start with just a few, and then you can just add as you go along. Then you can leave the second part, the bottom part right here as your notes, like that, or you can fill it in with more florals to really bring this page alive. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed our mark making today. Do we have any questions about the supplies that I used today? You don't have to cut it, but I think the idea is because we're sharing the whole spread in 1 week. So I like to kind of like peek through the remaining of the week. So from first half of the week, Monday till Wednesday is on this side, and then my other half of the week is on this side. Then I have all my to-do list in the middle part. You can keep this bottom part right here as your notes, you know, if you need to add more notes in there. Or like what I said, you can add more florals in there just to make it look more even prettier. But that's it. I really, really love it. Do you use the hard tips for the pens? The one that I use is the FM, the Fudenosuke medium. So this one is going to be the more flexible one. So the FH is thinner and much more harder. So Fudenosuke hard. So it's a bit more hard to hard flex compared to the FM, which is more flexible than the FH. So I really love the FM. And then of course the brush pen itself. I love that. But thank you all so much, guys. Yes, when you cut it, it's so fabulous. It's so pretty, especially if you have the other part right here. It's going to look really, really gorgeous. So thank you. This was simple. This was quick. I wanted something that we can finish. You know, however, we didn't finish the back, but you get the idea. You can finish that later on. But I do hope that you enjoy this class. Thank you all so much for being here. It means a lot to me. In behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores, we thank you all so much. You have a fantastic rest of your evening and a lovely rest of your week. I hope to see you again, same time, same day next week at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time. See you soon. Stay creative and stay happy, everyone. Bye bye.